Hello, my lovely spectators. Dee Dee here, and welcome to my studio. So, we are in the middle of the night crafting again, and this video is specifically for the fans of the Junk Journal Studio. So, I have another video where I was participating or am participating in Michelle, the owner and designer of the Junk Journal Studio, over on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, YouTube. And a recent prompt, which was a couple days ago, was playing cards. And I, did my little thing, made my little craft, and I didn't make a video. And I just, posted it as usual, like we're supposed to. And, well, I feel like I broke the internet. I'm being cutesy, but I was getting a little bit like, oh my word, look at that. Because I did these tabs and I've gotten so many likes and I'm so appreciative of the likes. And I tried to go back and anyone who commented, give them a thumbs up, thank you kind of thing, answered any questions that I could. But a lot of people were asking me how I did these, if there was a video, etc., etc. So after today, there will be a video of what I did to make these tabs out of playing cards. So I made 6 of them for my journal because my journal is like honking. It is literally 11 inches tall. It is 7.5 inches wide, and the spine is a good, let's see, 3.5 inches. So I have a lot of space to cover in here. So when I do and it's 3 signatures. So when I do something, I need to do it for all of the things. All of the signatures is the things that I'm talking about. So I'm going to make a couple. And then I'll probably finish off like whatever off camera, but I'm going to show you what I did and give you information on what it was that I used to create. So I have the rest of the deck. Now, you guys didn't really see the backs, but this is the deck that I have purchased a bunch of them off of Facebook Marketplace. They are shiny, slick feeling, and everybody was questioning as to whether or not what adhesive and stuff like that. And basically, I just use good old art glitter glue. So I have that. I used the Ace, the whole set rather, for the hearts. So I think for this one, I'm going to take a black set. So I think I'm going to use the spades because they're the opposite of the hearts. Now, I'm not going to have you do the entire thing with me. Of course not. I am going to just show you the process and talk to you about and let you know what it was that I used and some of my strategies. So, tools, the cards, the glue, and this guy. So this is one of those notch corner combinations. I got mine from Temu. I know that some places were at one point selling them together with the scoreboard, the little mini scoreboards, like this size. Ooh, sorry. Yeah, this isn't the Temu one, but this size. They were selling them as a package, like a dual. And basically, just looking for a score. I don't know where the little thing fell off to. So I'm looking for something that I can score with. All right. And what else? Oh, the decorations, right? So, let me do the Ace. Why not? And I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I did the 2. And then the rest I made as journal cards. So I probably will because my thing needs a lot of decoration. So, but I'm not going to do that right now. So what do we have to do? You have to fold them. Now, where you can get deck of cards, pretty much anywhere. I have purchased a big box of cards, not these, to do another creators challenge, the full deck challenge, and I have not started that yet. And they came they're all slippy, smooth and stuff like that. But of course the paper is going to be slightly different. It could be more rigid. These seem to be traditional size, which is 2¼ wide by so 1 2 1/4 by 1 2 3 1/2, right? A little bit shy of a 3.5. I know that there are other cars that may feel a little bit wider, and again, Amazon, but try your thrift stores. I was just at one of our thrift stores, and in those little baggies where they have like kid stuff, whatever, there's a bunch of little card decks in there. If we're just crafting with them and not going to play, if it's missing a 12, well, there's no 12. I guess that would be the jack. Who cares, right? So, but yeah. Someone else mentioned casinos. I know that that's a thing. The casinos, once they've had a lot of use on them, they like to get rid of their old cards, but they do punch a hole through them. But again, if we're decorating them, we're going to put something on top of the hole. So yeah, so that's pretty much the two go-tos of where you might be able to get a deck of cards. But I know that in one of the Junk Journal Essentials, Michelle actually has card faces. So you could cut those out. You can back them on a little bit thicker card, and because we're folding them so that the numbers and the card faces actually show, right? I think I used them in another. I'm just digging over here to get the other kits. So, oh, my goodness, I'm a mess today. Sorry. This is the other kits that we had option to use. So I've been pulling out a lot of backgrounds, right? But I know that she has, here it goes. It's in I know for sure, Junk Journal Essentials Volume 2. That's this stack here. Yes, I print the whole kit out and I just consume it. I don't, I did reprint a few things because I did want to make them bigger. But look, she has cards in here. So you can definitely you have a resource at least to try it prior. And, you know, trying to see if there was another page, not in here, that I could see. Maybe because I did use some, I know that. But yeah, so you maybe want to look into those. Let me look at the other one real quick, because I did, like I said, I used some of each one. So the challenge was to use at least one thing from a Junk Journal Essential and one thing from, see, there's more cards in this one. So she's got cards in both. See how these are a little wider, etc. So, yeah. Oh, you know what? Let's cut this guy out. See what happens. So, yeah, so the challenge has to be that you use, like I was saying, a piece from the Junk Journal Essentials, 1 or 2, volume 1 or 2, and a piece from one of the kits from the All Things Roses, which is what the challenge is about. So, okay, I'm just going to take one of these out. Okay, it feels like the size of a standard card. I mean, I grew up playing cards with my dad, casino and rummy and all that stuff. So it feels right. Yeah, so this one was from volume 1. So there's some in each of the volumes. So I'm going to use one of these. Oh, I am on a roll. This is what happens. What time is it today? It's 2:21 a.m. Technically February 15th. February 15th. Let me adjust you again, because I am having a doozy of a time getting myself organized. So, ooh, so comparatively speaking, this is the size of mine, and like I said, almost the same height, just slightly wider feeling. Okay. Sorry. So, let me tell you what I did. Throughout the challenge, I tried, I'm lucky. I can manipulate things and not change them, but changing the sizes and being able to isolate some of the things. I just know some stuff like computerized and stuff. And my printer does print 12 by 12 and 11 by 17. So if I can find a way to make things even bigger than the standard, like my belly bands, then I can kind of, have a little more fun, right? The other thing that I know I have to do and I have to consider is that I don't want to create a lot of bulk. I don't mind a gator mouth, but that's heavy already, and it's not even fully decorated, nor is it, like fleshed out completely. So one of the things that I did in another challenge was I used washi stickers, right? I printed out the background pages as washi on washi paper, and I did that, and I was able to add those elements to all the blank white because there's a lot of scrapbook paper. And another trick that I like to do a lot of the times is also to print full background pages on label stickers like this, right? So this allows me to have that little piece of it, and the label is very thin, so it's not adding a lot of bulk because we are making, most of the time, everything has a little cluster on it. I don't see the other one. Okay. I guess I must have finished the other one, so we're going to go with it. So my task, or all of our tasks if we're doing this, is to use one. So these are from the All Things Roses, and this is from one of the essentials, I believe. Yes. So I'm going to need to use this for sure. And I'm going to use probably a couple of these, and then I'm going to go into all of the little bits and pieces. But let's do the prep work, and we can decorate later. Okay. Yeah, it looks like this is all I have of the little blue paper that I was using. So here's what we're going to do. We need to fold it in half. Now, going back to the cards, right? A deck of cards, we're going to fold it like this in half with the number, because that's the interesting part. This is the interesting part, right? The back could be beautiful too. Hey, and that's where my journal card, the backs, I think I don't think I left them alone. I think I added one of her papers because the little, what's it called? This was not gold. It could have. It kind of. Some of these ladies in her kit have like feathers. So maybe, but I didn't put it. Okay, so we're trying to match this up. Now I fussy cutted this, so I'm a little off, right? Now it's on 65-pound cardstock, right? Hammer mill, I think. So nothing super special. And it's folding good, right? Not a problem. What I noticed when I fold this one, I have to be a little more careful. The card has some pushback, and when I go to fold it, I want to make sure that I have it like straight on, and that I'm pressing down. And what I noticed, and I guess it's because of the clear coat and all that stuff, is that there's a lot of cracking. So with that cracking, you will need to adjust, this. I even tried to score it to kind of see what would happen. And that also, I don't know, it kind of cracked. Maybe I need to score both the front and the back. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm trying to make sure I have my space over here. Okay, oh, that's not. All right, so what we have to do next is to actually, I took this out because of like scoring it, but I'm not going to have you sit through that, right? We can fold it easily. That wasn't a problem. Okay, so what you could do is you can, make sure that it's nice and down like that, and you're good to go. Now, this is the guy that is going to help out tremendously because you want to create a little bit of a tab shape. You may have some of these other ones. You could round them, right, if you wanted to. There's also ones that have, the chomper or whatever for a tag. You could put an angle so that it doesn't stay completely straight. And then there's another one. Where is you? Where you be? I don't know where she goes. Where's she at? There's another one that has like a stubby kind of like. Oh, here she goes. This one. So you can have this guy maybe, but it's not really that deep. It's not really that deep. So this one is the best bet. And if you have an envelope punch board, right, and not this, it still has that notch thing, so you can do it. You just need to take your paper and line it up in the middle. So where the T is, right? So you want to, there's no line down here, unfortunately. So you got to really have a steady hand of holding it up against the back of the punch and going to the middle where the T is. And then punching. Oof. And there's our little whoop. And then we're going to just go to the other side and do the same thing. So again, holding it up. I can see where the middle is. It actually has this weird little, you really can't see, little divot in there. So you hold it up there, you get it there, you press down to hold it, and then you punch it through. So you get it like that. So I'm going to do the actual card as well. Okay. Okay, and then again, hold that there. All right, so that's how easy it was to get this thing, provided you have the tool, right? After that, it's all about the decoration, right? So I decided, since I'm using, on the other one, I used the red suit, I used ground espresso. So I pulled out aged mahogany, which I had used on something else in the one of the other decorations. So I'm gonna ink this up. Let's see. I don't know, my pads sometimes don't feel like they're that, you know, juicy. So I am putting ink all the way around, and I'm doing it on both sides because you're going to be able to see the front and the back, and there's an ace on both sides, right? Okay. I'm also going to do it on the paper one because it is still a what do you call it, another still a card that we're using, right? So this will go in my stash because it won't match the other ones in my journal, my junk journal. But it will go in the stash and it'll be like an idea thing, right? So I'm going to put them on this way so I can see them. If you're going to put it on the other side, that'll be kind of difficult because, you know, you're not going to see the number on that side. So, you know, it's always going to be on the right hand side, just so you know. Okay, now on paper, this is not going anywhere, right? And this is a slick surface. So you have to let this kind of dry a little bit or heat set it with, you know, your heat set because of the slick surface and this being an oxide. Okay, the other one that I used was an archival distress ink, so that one was good and it didn't like slip and slide all over the place. Okay, so what I did was I took my first layer, which was to take one of the pieces. So because I have the cracking, even though I inked it, I still see the cracking. I don't like that. Can you see that little jaggedness? So I'm going to pull one off of here, right? And all I did was I applied it over that. Okay. Now, if it feels a little too long, like you're losing the swoosh, which it kind of did, all I did was cut the edge a little bit, put a little ink on the sticker, and being that it was slick, the stickers held pretty decently. I was surprised. And so then I'm going to cover that. So with the ace, I am covering the symbol, but I have it right here, right? So we're just going to do that, fold it over, and we still have the integrity of the shape, right? These is basura, okay? For the 7, let's also take another piece. Let's do this, okay? I'm not going to ink this one, and I'm going to try to center it, right? And again, the swoop is visible, so I'm not going to cut this one down just so we can see the difference of how it looks, right? So you got to make a judgment call as to your own, what your preferred aesthetic is. So first layer down, right? Got that going. Okay. Now, what I did also was I made sure, so like, okay, now I feel it. Guess what? We're going to take the scissor and we're going to trim off that little bit, okay? Okay. The other thing that I did do was once I put the sticker, I did ink the edge. I know that was aggressive, right? I like an aggressive inking. So there we go. When we go to put the tab, I want the tab to feel like a tab and to function like a tab. So my thoughts of decorating always was trying to push it towards the inside, if that is understandable, right? I want to make it go this way. So let me see if I can bring it in again. So for example, here, right? Everything on this guy, wow, I did a lot on this page. I just randomly put them wherever. So that's why I'm going to put some more. I put everything going that way, right? And on the other side, over here, I put everything coming more this way. That way, I was seeing that this was a tag, right? Not just like an edge cluster. So we're going to need to add a few more bits and pieces, which is where we're going to get some of these things. Now, if I wanted to, I could take a piece of this sticker, all right? And let's say another piece of the pink one, okay? To create a little more base. It's going to maybe give me some more color, but it's also going to not add a lot of bulk because the sticker is really, really, really thin. So I'm going to just go like this, right? Over here. So I'm going to just add a little sticker this way, right here. And I'm going to add the pink one on this one over here, right? It's just for a little bit of, you know, something, something as a background, right? So we're going to do this. And then we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to, I could ink that edge, but I'm not because we are going to put more on there. So I'm going to do that. Okay. So yes. So there's my main. And then on this side, we're going to put this over here. Okay. Just to have a little bit of some layering. Okay. There we go. Now we take out the little bits and pieces. Where did that envelope go? So I have everything in an envelope. So I have all my pieces cut out. I fussy cut a little, a lot, all the time as I'm doing it so that I have, you know, everything accessible when I want to sit down and work. So I'm going to take a word, one for each one. Take that. Some people like the butterfly, so let me grab a butterfly. Where is it? I want a smaller butterfly. Right? Oh, it doesn't have to be that small. Let's see. We can put that. We're going to, let's see what else we have available in here. Yeah, I used a lot. So we have this. That's pretty. And let's see here. If I want to add a little bit more of the junk journal, the junk essence, no, what is it? Essentials. I can go in there, pull a little piece of like I love music paper, so I always have. Oh, this is from, I believe, the Junk Journal Studio. I got the Junk Journal Essentials. Wow, I'm all over the place. As well as this, right? So, if you're not familiar with my videos, I am like, oh, let's just take this. Oh, let's just take that. I'm just looking for things that are small right now. I tend to just roll with it and just throw things together. And I know that that's hard for some people. And I try not to fuss too much. You know, I get it down. I think that, you know, we sometimes overthink. But that doesn't mean that that's bad. Just, you know, in my world, I'm trying not to do that. I want to be productive. And not, Jesus, I sound like an a-hole. Sorry, guys. I'm just babbling over here. I'm just trying to grab things that would add a little fun. Okay, that's it. I'm going to see what I can do with that. All right, so we're going to need to ink everything, so let's do that. So I am going to just state again, like, I was so shocked that these little tabs got so much love. And I'm, again, appreciative of it. I think it's up to like 1,000 likes. I was like, oh my goodness. So that was really, this one I had inked prior, so I'm just going to add a little more aged on there. I didn't wind up using it. I think I had pulled too many things. onto the scene, I'm going to need to cut this also because it's a little too big. I'm only going to probably need one, or maybe I'll use one on each one. So let me just ink the edge I just cut. Okay, we're going to need to put the butterfly with some ink because the fussy cutting is something that I'm getting better at, but I'm not like super perfect. So I have a hard time sometimes getting into some of these or staying close to the black line. But I'm getting better. But ink does help a ton. So yeah, so all of these elements are part of those 4 kits. You know, I can't tell you exactly which ones, but I know that they're from them because by now everything is mixed up. Okay, and we got this one here. So that's what I'll do. I'll pull a bunch of things because I know I gotta make a cluster. I'll ink up them the way that I'm inking for the task at hand, in this case with the mahogany. And that's why if I pull too much, I might throw it back in there and it's already inked another color. So yeah, that happens. Okay, and this is kind of a wide one, so I'm just gonna chop it down a little bit. I love to add some black into most of my projects, right? When I can. So I really liked these black sentiments with the phrases and stuff. I enjoyed that. Okay, did I ink everything? Okay, and then I was saying that I was gonna take a piece of this paper, right? Maybe that big. I don't know. We shall see if that's going to do the job or not. Okay. And then I just decide to start, you know, gluing things down. That's basically it, my friends. All right, so on this guy in the back, so because the tab is going this way, I know that here I want the butterfly to go. He's gonna, you know, these are delicate. I did cut the antennae out, so we want him to go that way. And to add a little bit of difference, I'm just gonna stick that so he has a little bit of difference there. And then what I do is I just start to glue the pieces together, right? I know that I need to go underneath the butterfly. Right, that's glued together now, and then I had that a little bit over here, so maybe I want to leave the 7, so I'm going to adjust it a little bit, so I know I need to go over here and on that butterfly here, there you go, and then you call it, it's on the other side, so it doesn't really matter because it's going to go on the page, so this back part is not going to be seen because it's going to be glued on the page. So there's the back. Let's do something to the front. Let's see here. I want to have words, so I think I'll put words on the front this time. So we've got this little guy right here. So like I said, I just glue things down. Okay, so we're gonna put. Sorry, now my nose. My nose seems to think that it's time to sniffle when I need to record. I don't know why. All right. I don't want to go over here because I want this to be the edge that's predominant. So I think I'm going to put this guy there. Okay, so mostly here. Okay. All right. And then I don't have... Do I want to put some other numbers? No, I want to put the words. Maybe I want to put this word. Okay. Let's see here. See, I'm just, yeah, I'm good with that. So we're going to put that. So I am going to have a lot extra because I'm kind of done with this tag. Maybe not. Let's see. Let's bring him down. So I am trying to make sure that there's levels. That's the only thing. But I'm not, other than that, I'm not going too crazy. Let's see. Do I feel like I need something else there? Maybe some of these numbers? No. How about this tag? This tag? No. All right. So this bad boy is done. Let's go to the next one. So the next one, since I used that there and we said we might not use both of them, I'm not going to use that one. I want to use the paper. So again, I can extend it this way because it's going to go on the page like that. So we're just going to do that. So I'm going to put glue all on this side. And we're going to just plop it there. Okay, let's see what else I have. I have this, which is pretty. Okay, and I have this. So let me see. You know, and I want to kind of not cover that, but if it happens, it happens, right? All right. Yeah, I'm good with that. So again, I'm going to start gluing things together. I straighten it out. And then I know that whole thing is going to go down. Most part. There we go. We're going to bring it back up. And there we go. Okay. So there's our front of our tab. Now I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to do the other side. So I'm going to use the numbers here. And I'm going to use the butterfly. So I'm going to put this here because I want to hang the numbers off this way to the right. Right? That'll be the back. And I'll show you on a piece of paper. I'm not worried about the suit on this side because it's the back, you know. But I am worried about like the direction things are going. So I want to put the words. So let me put that first. Because I don't want the butterfly to cover it that much. But like I said, I'm not making that many decisions as to what I'm using, right? I think if you're using a digital kit, everything kind of goes, you know, with each other, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I want to make sure I see that. But then other than that, I'm good. Like that. Okay. And then I'm gonna lift it. Add some more adhesive. Okay, which is just like I said, art glitter glue. And the tab is done. That's it, guys. Easy peasy, hopefully. Me showing to you helped out some people get not an understanding, like a little visual. Some people are visual, and that's cool. So let me show you up close how you would put this. So let's say this is the edge of a of your page. You're just going to put this on up until this little divot right there, right? Let's see. I have okay. This is temporary. See? Removable. I just want a tiny little bit so you can see. So you would put it on one side with the glue, line up to the edge of the paper, line the bottom up to the edge of the paper, and then there you go. There's your tab. When you turn off the paper, you have that. Cool, right? All right, and let's take a look at the other one. So this is removable. It comes off really easy. So I can throw this one in my stash, and I'm gonna show you this guy. Okay, and again, I'm looking, so it looks a little confusing and like all mishmash, but once you get it over the paper, you'll see the difference. So again, lining up that little corner and that little corner, pressing down your glue, and it's done. And then you have your little tab, and there's your back. Dink, dunk, dunk. All right, guys. So, yeah. Again, I felt like a lot of people asked questions. I tried to answer every question that I could, and I was trying to, I showed the punch several times, and a couple people asked me about, is there a video? Well, you know what? I make videos. I have a channel. I was just crafting that day. I wasn't doing anything, crazy, and it didn't dawn on me to do a video. I don't know why. I just sat down and started making. But you asked for it, and hopefully this was helpful to some of you, and hopefully you enjoyed it, and maybe you'll subscribe to my channel, and you'll check out some other things that I haven't done, have done, or am doing, or will be doing, whatever that is. It's again 2 o'clock in the morning, so If you're new, please consider subscribing, commenting, liking, sharing the video with all of your friends. If you're a subscriber already, thank you so much for coming back. I hope you enjoyed this, even though it's kind of like a shout out to the fans of the Junk Journal Studio, but everyone is welcome here. So until next time, ciao ciao, bye.